Hey everybody, welcome to China Insider, and thank you so much. And our channel is currently sitting around 250,000 subscribers. It wasn't too long ago I made a video about the 100,000 subscribers, and so I did go to the community tab and ask you guys what you want to see, and most of you chose reactions to crazy videos from China. So let's get going to our video reactions on everything that's going on in China. And as always, if you enjoyed our content so far, please leave a like, comment below what your thoughts are, and subscribe to our channel. Always appreciate your support, as well as thanks so much for watching and being with me for this journey so far. Oh, this is about Country Garden, so this must be one of their properties. Oh no, it's tofu drag. My God, look at the beams. If you haven't checked out my video on this, I did a video on how China's buildings, that they're like basically tofu drag. The little crumbles of tofu that you get after you make the block, literally describing the material that you get, tofu drag building that crumbles like these, they're like tofu pieces. The other side is that they use really subpar material when they're constructing it. They basically take the amount of necessary material and how much money they were given, and they say, how can we minimize the amount we spend on material to make it look like it's still a building, and we can take the rest of that money and put it into our own bank account. Everything that it's used to support the building is falling apart. Wow, look at that. That's crazy. And you can put up these buildings in like, short spans, like 2 months maybe, and they're in like these huge communities of apartment complexes. The tofu drag situation in China, it's one of those things that's like, you can't really blame just the people because it's a societal issue. And fundamentally it boils down to morality, right? You have contractors, developers, they all work together with the local government to try to put up these residential areas really quickly, but at the expense of how do we make maximum amount of profit from them? And so you basically say you were given 100,000 for building, much more than that for the real case, but 100,000 for the building, and you're supposed to buy material in quality products that matches that 100,000. But what they end up spending is maybe like 50,000 on material. Obviously, you can't get the same quality, and the other 50,000 they will put into their own pockets or bribe the officials. And it's like a fast food China's building system. And what you get is basically buildings crumble down really fast, and it's life-threatening too. So if you haven't checked out that video that I'm talking about, I'll link it here, and you can go check it out. All right, next video. Wait, that's it? So that's just cars in grass fields. I believe this was probably filmed in a again what China calls ghost cities. So. Developers, again, this has to do with real estate. Developers, they went and build up these big areas of apartment complexes. Nobody's living in these areas, and it ends up getting abandoned. But I wonder how the cars got there, because this could have been after COVID in China. So a lot of cars, I mean, if you're going to think about that, it could even be how many people have died and left their cars behind this whole area hasn't seen a life form in a very long time, and it's essentially been abandoned. You never know the possibility here, but that's pretty scary. Let me watch it one more time. Yeah, it's like a farm of cars. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, next. I don't want to watch that anymore. That's too much. Before we move on to more crazy videos, make sure to check out my sponsors for today's video, Blueberry Quality Products. Blueberry carries some of the best skincare products out there, including this Derma Roller face mask. It has intensive hydration from the hyaluronic acid, and I use it once a week. It helps me keep me from getting overproduction of oil, which leads me to have acne breakouts. And of course, I use makeup when I film on camera that when I take it off, my skin gets quite dry. This does both to help me protect and repair my skin. So head on over using my link in the description, and you can receive 15% off all products and free shipping in the United States if you spend $70 or more. She put locks on her corns in case somebody steals them. The joke is that now you get your corn and you get 2 locks with it. Oh, this is my favorite video. I've seen this before. Okay, so people were telling me that these are not eggs that they're making for consumption, but they're egg toys. But I've never seen somebody play with a toy that's in the shape of an egg or try to look like an egg. This to me looks like they're really making fake eggs. In China, every food product could be fake, and it's no exaggeration. So you have to be really careful. There was one of the most infamous one was called, I believe it's called melamine, and it's really, really toxic for babies, and they end up getting deformed and things like that. So it was a huge issue with the baby formulas, and I think even affected the global baby formula. I think there was like a shortage because of China's bad quality products. And again, I say this is like very severe too, right? It's systemic moral issues caused by the Communist Party. And essentially, you've put people under this heavy amount of political struggle for so long that it's hard for them to understand that you'll find this with a lot of people too when they move out from China to another country. The way that they behave, it's like very different. They're afraid to trust people. They're afraid to engage with people because they simply think that everybody is out to get them. And that's what happens when you're ruled under communism for so long, that you don't have this interpersonal trust between people, and you think that everyone's out to get you, right? And so what you end up doing is you don't consider other people as people, and you see them as people that you can make a profit from out of for any particular reason that you can think of. Like, you can make fake products. As long as you're not the one consuming it, then it's okay, as long as you make money. And that's basically what's been happening in China when it comes to fake products. So this is like one of those math problems. Sam's mom bought 200 eggplants. How many did Jackie's mom take home after stealing it from her supermarket shopping cart? That's pretty crazy. So you see a lot of these videos online too of like Chinese moms in the supermarkets fighting over like discounted pork or whatever grocery product that's on sale. And there's like videos of them trying to fight over like mass products being discounted. And again, it's like one of those things, right? You don't see this in a Western country, but in China, you see this type of stuff a lot. And it's again, I contribute it to that factor. But then with food, there's a very distinct behavior you'll observe. And I know this because of my grandparents' generation. They went through the Cultural Revolution and the Great Famine before that. And so they know what starvation looks like. So a lot of times you see that like Chinese people, and particularly any country that's suffered under socialism and the hunger issue, right? They really value food as like something else. It's like much more than just food. So, there's a whole thing about not wasting food, but there's another one with you want to hoard as much as you can. And it's so that you never experience hunger again. I remember my grandparents told me that they had to use like food stamp, and obviously it wasn't enough because during that Great Famine period, first many places didn't even have food to eat. But then you also had the issue of bureaucracy and like Communist Party bureaucracy. So they weren't giving enough food. There's corruption, obviously. A lot of things were going on. So that generation of people were conditioned to like really take food seriously. And so throughout all of that, and now you have videos like these that really demonstrate the psychological damage that people had traumatized essentially under communism. Pretty sad. Is she locked to the machine? Wait, let me watch that one more time. Chained there so that she can stay at the station throughout her entire shift. Or is that a guy? I can't remember. I can't really tell. But yeah, there's no work law. People say that, well, in China you must have legal issues when it comes to workers' rights, right? I mean, after all, the Communist Party, it's all about the workers, right? Means of production. Unfortunately, no. They've really taken the bad part of capitalism, right? This textbook industrial revolution, like, the merchant, what's it called? The bourgeoisie's exploitation of the working class, and then you have to rise up against them. But unfortunately, it's now they're controlled by the Communist Party. How the heck are you supposed to rise up against the people that made the promise to you in the first place? I mean, there's no communist utopia. They will never reach it, and they're actually farther from it than any other place in the world.
这什么情况？这人都打死，这么大一块的东西砸在头上，这个酒店能睡吗？
凌晨4点半的时候，然后
Oh
我
no
当时在睡觉，然后突然房顶就塌下来，当时就落好大的。
Another tofu drag work. So the roof collapsed on top of the ceiling collapsed on top of the man while he was asleep. 4 a.m. in the morning it happened, and he scared the crap out of him, and I think did he also go to the hospital? It says he went to the hospital according to his daughter. So here's the interesting part. I never really lived in hotels while I was in China, but the buildings that we lived in, right? They were like the old brick and mortar apartment complexes. So they were relatively strong. The newer ones, the nice and fancy apartment complexes, those are the dangerous ones, and you better watch out in China. Any stairs, any windows, any bridges, any roads, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Oh yeah, I've seen this video. This was, so the recent flood in Hebei, and that's a truck that they used to transport pigs in. And I mean, this is the perfect analogy to use here, that the people in China, they're worse than animals, worse than pigs. And it also shows you that there's no flood rescue effort from the government. There's only for show, and people are just, I mean, I'm glad they're rescued, but it's such an ironic scene, because where's all that great and glorious and righteous and politically correct communist official response to this flood? I mean, this just happened 2 weeks ago, and people are just not like people. They're not treated like people in China. All right, what do we got here? Kids chewing lychee. Wonderful. Just know that next time you consume whether that's a can of lychee or dried fruit afterwards, just remember, behind every can of lychee, there is a Chinese kid who's helped you with that. Yeah, child labor aside, unsanitary maybe, but it's just, man, it's just weird. Hey, look, is Xi Jinping at a Chinese bun stand? Oh my God, the resemblance, uncanny. Oh my God, I gotta watch it again. Oh my God, I don't think that's AI. I think he must be a distant relative or something. Look at that, wow, that's crazy. So nickname for Xi Jinping is Xi Meat Bun, because there's a story he went to a Chinese bun restaurant and he ordered some buns. The name of that restaurant was called Qingfeng Buns, and so people often call him Xi Qingfeng or Xi Bun or Xi Meat Bun. And it's obviously it's making fun of him, but selling his favorite product, his favorite nickname.
Many friends who are followers of the
All right, here we go. This is
Guangzhou,
great
China
propaganda.
For business, but they might not be aware of that there are 4 cathedrals. Let me show you the biggest one now. Let's go. Welcome to Shishi Sacred Heart Cathedral, one of the only 4 fully stone-structured Gothic cathedral buildings in the world. The other 3 are nurtured down.
So before we even go further, disclaimer, there's really no, you can't practice Christianity in China freely. And you can't really believe in the ideas of Christianity in China freely. And so, just to get that out there, I'll explain more of that later.
Cathedral in Paris, Westminster Abbey, and Cologne Cathedral. The design was crafted by the French in 1863.
So the cathedral itself, it was built by the Europeans, in this case the French, and that itself, right, I'm surprised that this remained. Most of the big churches in China, they were taken down during the Cultural Revolution. But obviously now this is being used as a tourist destination, used as a propaganda device to say that in China there is freedom of religion.
enshrined religious freedom in its constitution.
Okay,
The
yeah.
实施 Constitution.
In the Constitution, it says a lot of things. The Chinese Communist Party Constitution says a lot of things. Its version of religious freedom is placing Mao's statue or Mao's portrait next to Jesus Christ, and now they're putting Xi's portrait next to Jesus Christ or the cross. I don't know about you, but I personally don't think that's the most authentic way to worship Christ. But I mean, in China, they say that they got Buddhist temples, they got Taoist temples, they got Christian churches, but in reality, Christians are persecuted in China. The most recent case was how the Chinese Communist Party appointed the Bishop of Shanghai before, and this was against the opposition coming from the Vatican, right? But in the end, the Vatican caved, the Pope caved to the CCP. And remember, the Pope refused to see Joseph Zhang of the Cardinal of Hong Kong during the 2019 democracy protest. And then the CCP went against the Vatican's directions to name multiple bishops in China who obviously serve the party instead of the Vatican. You can't really believe such things as this video says that there's religious freedom in China. I mean, if there really was, Uyghurs, Falun Gong practitioners, Tibetans, they wouldn't have been persecuted all these years. What they call is a big outer propaganda, right? Directly aimed at people who don't really know much about China or what exactly is going on, pretending like, oh yeah, China has religious freedom. But if you go ask anybody in China, chances are they'll tell you they're an atheist. And that's not by choice in most cases. Because, well, I mean, it is by choice because once you do have a religion, they'll either send you to jail or kill you for your organs. And that's it for today's reaction. Hope you enjoyed it so far. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like these. And also, let me know which one was your favorite or the craziest that you saw today with me. And this is China Insider. I'm David Zhang. See you next time.